Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Halftime Report. 12 noon, halfway through the trading session. I am Hindalco and with me is Nigel D'Souza. Well, it's been a steady climb for our markets, to levels of what, 11,250, a record-breaking rally, you would call it that, up for nearly 6 days in a row. Only for one day, we had a flat close, but other than that, if you pull up a 10-day chart, you can see for the last 6 trading sessions, the markets have been moving well. And the good part is the mid-caps have now started outperforming. So on a week-to-date basis, the Nifty's rallied 2%, whereas the mid-caps have rallied in excess of about 4%. So that's a positive bid. And also there appears to be some signs that maybe the rally is broadening out. So this week, if you see the top performers, it's a State Bank of India, it's an ICICI Bank, it's UPL, of course on the back of the deal, Hindalco, again on the back of a deal, but an ITC, SBI, Hindalco, ICICI Bank, these are the top performers this week with rallies of close to about 10% and not, the Bajaj finances and the Reliances and TCS, which powered the rally up until now. So maybe there are signs that the rally perhaps could be broadening out.
And that's right, Rima. It's a good start to a week after you have a series where you gain 580 points. Rima's talking about nearly 6 trading sessions that we have been winning. For the last 6 years, actually, in the July series itself, we have got positive returns. So July has clearly belonged to the bulls. And good to see we're starting off the August series as well on a positive note. Yesterday, we had the Hindalco deal as well as the UPL deal. Remember, in the last 7 days, we've had both these 2 deals were announced. The reason that both those 2 stocks were under pressure were because of the deals and the fears that the valuations will not be favorable. Hindalco is holding with a gain of around 3.5% in today's trading session because now in fact the street is coming to terms that this deal will be EPS accretive actually. And even with regard to UPL as well, that stock was up more than 10% odd. From Hindalco's lows, actually, it's given you returns of nearly around 10% just in the last few trading sessions. So keep an eye out on a couple of these names. We'll talk about that. We'll talk more about stocks as well. First up,
by the way, news coming in on Tata Motors where S&P has downgraded Tata Motors' credit rating. This comes just days after Moody's too had downgraded Tata Motors' rating, and the key reason being weakening operating conditions for JLR. Remember, Tata Motors has been the biggest drag on the Nifty with a cut of close to about 38% on a year-to-date basis. So on the back, of course, the weakening profile of JLR, and now credit rating agencies like S&P are downgrading it. But I guess this is known. But let's talk about the other movers and shakers that we're tracking this noon. And the big one today is ITC. Mangalam, over to you. Smoking hot in your terms.
Smoking hot in my terms, and I was hearing you say movers and shakers. Add both of them together, it becomes smokers. So that is something we'll have to watch out for. But, ITC results were absolutely in line with what the street was expecting. But beneath the surface, the cigarette volume growth, that one enthused the analysts. So whichever way you look at it, 1 to 2% was the growth that the company posted on its cigarette volume business. And this compares with majority of the street actually factoring in a 0 to 2% decline. They add to that, you had some sweetener coming in from the FMCG business as well. That did well on a year-on-year basis. So if you compare this quarter's earnings before interest and tax, that one grew by about 10 times as compared to quarter 1 FY18. And why is this important? The first quarter for their FMCG business is usually weak. So if you take a look at the first quarter performance of their FMCG business over the last few years, you would see that the improvement in their performance is pretty visible. Right from a loss of close to 16 crores, it has turned into a profit. Most importantly, ITC trades at a discount to Hindustan Unilever as well as the FMCG sector. So some growth visibility and valuation comfort is taking that stock higher. All the brokerages, they should come up for you on your screen. Positive on the stock with a target price of anywhere between 320 to 390.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much for that, Mangalam. Well, Rima, Bharti Airtel's numbers look fairly decent in a challenging quarter.
Yes, absolutely. Steady in an otherwise challenging environment for the entire industry. Consolidated revenues beat, improving by 2.3% quarter-on-quarter. Both India as well as the Africa revenues positively surprised. Margins were under pressure, so margins down 175 basis points on account of weakness in the India wireless operating metrics. So for the India wireless business, voice continues to remain under pressure while data growth has been strong. So the average revenue per user continues to fall for the entire industry, so that's down 10%, while data volumes have improved by nearly 40%. Africa is clearly the bright spot. In the quarter, it saw a sequential revenue growth of 6.5%, a margin improvement. And the margin improvement for Africa has been quite strong in the last 3 years. See, look at that. In Q1 FY16, it was 20%, and now they've improved it to 36%. The bottom line, this time around, a profit versus expectations of a loss on account of a deferred tax asset created by the company in Africa. But on the whole, operationally steady, which is why the stock is managing to hold up in the green.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much for that, Rima. Well, a week ago, Nisha told us that this deal is likely, and yesterday she alerted us as well that the deal is likely to be announced late last evening, and not just the timing of the deal, but also the contours of the deal and the valuations. Nisha was bang on. Nisha, over to you. Tell us about Hindalco.
Thanks for that, Nigel. Of course, $2.58 billion bet that Hindalco's Kumar Mangalam Birla has taken on Aleris, buying out this particular company, which is into the downstream products business of the aluminium business. So it's a strategic fit for Novelis. As far as the deal contours go, it's going to be $775 million of cash payment and $1.8 billion of debt, which will be taken over by Novelis. Now, few things that the street would be definitely be watching out for, and that's something probably which has really revved up the stock today, is first the $360 million of EBITDA guidance that has been given for Aleris after the consummation of deal. The second bit being that Hindalco will try to lower its net debt to EBITDA level below 3x in 2 years of acquisition. So right now it has surpassed that. And that's something that the street earlier did not like. And on the other hand, also remember that going forward, $150 million is the kind of synergistic benefits which will start kicking in after the third year of operations. These are the three important points that is going to define the analysis, and the markets will be watching out for. It's going to be a strategic fit because they are getting into more higher end products with higher margins, like higher ramp up in the automotive product business and also the entry into the defense aerospace as well.
All right, thank you very much for that. Petronet LNG is weak in an otherwise strong market. That stock is down under pressure. Well, now it's down about 0.5%. It's recovered from the day's low, but nevertheless not participating in the up move. Sonal joins us for more on that. Sonal?
Well, basically, the stock is down in trade today despite the fact that the numbers reported by Petronet LNG were quite strong. Strong operational performance that was majorly led by higher utilization at the H terminal. If I take you through the numbers, EBITDA growth of 13.5% at 934 crores versus a poll of 854 crores.
Sonal, we'll come back to you. We'll just get that audio glitch fixed. By the way, just keep an eye on a couple of stocks. Actually, Abhishek is just sending us some alerts on the Chola, con call, and I think we should get the stock up as well. It's come off the high point of the day. We'll try to get in Abhishek. He says that margins have dipped meaningfully because of growth in HCV. That, in fact, has been strong. The share used, CV has also gone down. So we'll try to get some more details over there. But the stock is falling on the back of, I think, the commentary that's going on as of now. And the stock, as we speak, it's moved to the low point of the day. So just keep an eye out on that one. We'll get Abhishek shortly to fill us in on that front. But Sonal, coming back to you, you're telling us about Petronet LNG. We can't do a movers and shakers without Sonal.
Well, thanks a lot for that, Nigel. And yes, Petronet LNG is weak in trade despite the fact that the company reported strong set of numbers, strong operational performance, majorly led by high utilization at the H terminal, EBITDA growth of 14% at 934 crores versus our poll of 854 crore rupees. Margins also expanded by 70 basis points sequentially, and we were expecting a decline of 10 basis points. Finance costs also declined on a sequential as well as on a YOY basis. That is quite positive for the company. Now, if we talk about utilization at the H terminal, utilization came in at 113% versus an expectation of 109%. Volumes are also quite strong. They increased 3% on a sequential basis. Regas volumes at 97 TBTUs. TBTUs is trillion British thermal unit versus an expectation of 92 TBTUs. Jeffries has increased the EPS estimates by 3%. DB also is quite positive and have a buy rating with the target price of 951. The stock, however, weak in trade, but the results were strong.
Okay, thank you very much for that. A quick recap then of the top buzzing stocks: ITC, Bharti Airtel, Hindalco, as well as Petronet LNG.
Okay, all right. Time to slip into a short break. Then on the other side, we'll focus on Star Cements. Remember, the stock is under some pressure. The margin performance was particularly disappointing. Welcome back then. Markets doing well. A few stocks that are moving around well. Petronet LNG has suddenly taken a bit of a downtick, so keep an eye out on that stock. And NMDC, just keep an eye out on that stock. Today it's bouncing in today's trading session. Remember earlier today, there was a bit of misinformation that was out there that NMDC has increased prices. No, they haven't increased prices. It's the same price that they had revised on 10th of July. So though on a year-on-year basis, on a month-on-month basis, it appears that they increased prices. That's not the case. The second time, in July, they've come out with this price revision. And this time, there's no revision actually. So in comparison with July 10 circular, there's no revision absolutely, with the stock seeing a bit of a bounce, from a post the sharp correction that we've seen. But the stock that's under pressure is Star Cement. Now that stock's in focus. They reported a mixed set of numbers. Top line, there was a good growth, but on the margin front, there was some compression. Remember, the subsidies have been discontinued as well. To discuss that and more, we have Mr. Sanjay Gupta, the CEO of the company, who joins us on the phone line. Hi, Mr. Gupta. Thanks so much, sir, for joining in. Give us a couple of details. Break up the top line for us. What were the sales volumes, and were there any realization spikes on a year-on-year basis?
Nigel, the volume has gone up by 14%, including clinker. This quarter, the volumes are 8,07,000 ton as against 7,09,000 ton corresponding quarter last year.
Okay.
In terms of realization is flat. On year-on-year, the realization spike which we are seeing is primarily on account of realignment of dispatches from ex-factory to FOR. So you will find the similar increase in the freight cost also. So that compensates. Otherwise, the realizations are flat.
Okay. Mr. Gupta, the problem in the quarterly earnings this time is the sharp correction in your margins. They've come down by nearly, 10% down to levels of 25.3%. What led to that? And going ahead, what is the sustainable EBITDA per ton?
The margins has come down primarily on account of the transport subsidy, which has expired in January 2018. We have already guided post this expiry of the transport subsidy that we'll be maintaining around 1850 kind of EBITDA for the full year. This quarter EBITDA is 1635. There is a increase in the advertisement expenditure in this quarter primarily, and the EBITDA is also subdued because of the more clinker sale, and there is an increase in some fuel cost. So these are accounting for the balance of 18, but we are hopeful that we'll be able to maintain 1850 for the full year.
Okay, and if you could help us out with what's the sales volumes for the year that you're targeting, and what did you do in FY18?
The FY18 total, including cement and clinker sale, was 26.05. Okay. And we expect at least a 15% growth. So we're expecting around 3 million tons this year.
3 million tons this year, but last year there was no growth, right? There was a degrowth actually, 2.6.
Yeah. Last year there was a degrowth of around 7%.
Okay.
Mr. Gupta, there's a sharp fall in your finance costs, both year-on-year as well as on a quarter-on-quarter basis. What is the total debt, and what led to this reduction in your leverage?
See, we had got around 600 crores of transport subsidy during the last 6-7 months. Okay. So that we have paid towards the repayment of our debt. So debt is today completely, we are net of cash, we are a debt-free company. And that's why the interest cost has come down substantially. Okay. And we hope to be a debt-free company for quite a period of time.
What is the outstanding subsidy?
Outstanding subsidy as of now, receivable is 430 crores, is still to be received.
When will you receive this? You're hopeful to receive half of this in this year?
We are hoping that at least 150 crores we are going to receive in this year. The balance is going to be received in next year. And
what you'll do with this money then, sir? Will you continue repaying debt? Do you have any plans of rewarding your shareholders?
Definitely, we have some proposal for in the AGM, which is due on 31st for dividend declaration, and we will also be coming out with this 2 million ton Siliguri plant. There will be some capex which is lined up, so we'll be using the balance fund there.
Okay. You said realizations are flat on a quarter-on-quarter basis. What is your expectation going ahead? Is there any improvement in pricing or any change?
See, I'll say the volume growth are coming healthy as far as the Northeast is concerned. The overall market has grown at 8%. We have also grown at 8%. And these are lean quarters. So even the July is showing a good amount of growth. We have seen a 15% kind of growth in July till now. So we are expecting the volume growth, and that will lead to at least a stability in the prices with some positive outlook for upward revision in prices.
Has the monsoon hit the places that you are selling in, the northeast region, sir? And if you could tell us, has there been a price correction, or do you think it will come in August?
I think there can be some price correction in this quarter because
has it happened? Has it happened so far?
I don't know, no, but we are expecting it in August and September.
So as of now, prices as of today are similar to what they were in the first quarter of this fiscal year.
Right.
Okay, pleasure talking to you, Mr. Gupta. Thanks so much, sir, for joining in.
Thank you.
And giving us those details. Well, pretty good going for the markets. We're going on building. So every dip really is being bought into. Titan suddenly has spiked to the high point of the day. When we started the show, it was holding with a gain of around 1%. Now it's up close to around 2%. And you also have other stocks like a Hero MotoCorp that's spiking up. But big boy, Reliance Industries, that's really the reason why we've moved to the high point of the day, sitting with a gain of around 1.5%. And Reliance Industries is fighting for the bulls as we speak. Slip into a short break. You come back, we'll tell you what's the trade on the Nifty. Ashwini Gujral and Prakash Kaba, both of them will be with us.